Welcome to Today with Audrey K. Come on, let's do a show. Hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Today with Audrey K. And hopefully my huge earrings won't hit me in the face. But anyway, we have a spectacular show for you. And as you know, we have a special guest because guess what? All of our guests on Today with Audrey K are special guests. But this one is kind of close to my heart because she's a part of our ministry, Christ Alive Worldwide Ministries. She's our young adult and youth coordinator. She's one of our actors in the plays that we do. She is also very, very just right there on board with everything that we're doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you Michel'le, as I call her, Michel'le Crayton.
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank
You
you.
know, we've been planning to get you here because you're such a dynamic woman, such a dynamic young woman. Such a dynamic young woman that's doing dynamic things.
Thank you.
I brought you on here to embarrass you.
I know, right? Like, I'm getting red cheeks.
Yes. So we're going to get started with your interview, but I just really wanted to let people know just how great you are. You do so much, and she's all over social media. And with some great advice. So if you run into Michel'le Crayton, you will get some good advice. Young head on straight head. But anyway, I digress. Okay, you tell us a little bit about yourself, Michel'le.
Yes, my name is Michel'le Crayton. I'm 26 years old. I'm married to Andre Crayton, have 2 beautiful children, expecting another. And, you know, I'm obsessed with Christ. You know,
Yes,
like
me
too. I just have like this heart and this spirit, like this go-getter spirit to want to do whatever I got to do in the Lord.
Yes.
And, you know, and that's my whole brand, Michel'le Crayton Inspires. I want to inspire, you know, whoever I come across, you know, to also get on fire when it comes to Christ, you know, and live for him wholeheartedly, you know.
Wholeheartedly.
That's it, like full-time, no part-time loving, full-time loving, you know. So, like, you know, just go all in.
Go
you know?
for it.
Yeah,
I
so.
know. You know what? We all are, us Christ lovers, those of us who profess to love Jesus, it should be a everyday, all in, every day, every reason, no matter what we're doing, whether we're watching TV, taking our kids to the park or whatever, it's like we should be on for the Lord at all times. Now, Michel'le, can you tell us at this point, what is the tally of your viewers or at this, whether your Facebook friends? You have the Facebook friends, and then you
got
have
the followers.
Then you have the followers, and what about that's the YouTube?
Actually, Facebook just all together.
Okay, Facebook.
So altogether, I'm looking at 39,000.
39,000.
Yeah, 39,000 people, and
I think I have 100. Somebody want to help me catch up with Michel'le here?
Yes, 39,000 for now, and hey, you know, I look at it like that's a start. You know, as far as like social media wise, you know what I'm saying, like. I mean, comparing the numbers, billions of people that are, you know, have access to social media,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like being able to just have those numbers and just to continuously just to reach out across the United States, not just Illinois, you know, just anywhere.
Now, how does that work? How does one get 39,000 followers? You must have to spend a great deal of time on social media.
What it is, what really brought that audience was a video that I had put out I guess is my life testimony, basically, showing the actual, giving people a picture of what I went through, just having a collage of my pictures together from the time I started on Facebook when I was like probably 18 years old, and at that time, from the 18 to like 23-year-old span, I put a lot out there on social media, and I was living a lifestyle that was really rough, so you see pictures of me, just really exploiting myself, partying, drinking, hanging around the wrong crew, relationships, all kinds of relationships with different men, those pictures I put out there. So just me actually just putting those pictures together and then seeing a change in me over time, like who I am now, how I'm a settled woman, a faithful, like and it's a delightful
person.
Yeah, like it's
beautiful
nothing.
person.
Man, glory to God.
Yes.
It's nothing but God that has instilled in me, how to settle down and how to get my life together, because I have children that's looking at me,
Yes.
So just seeing those pictures just add up, and everybody was like, "Wow." Like
That's brave.
Yeah, like it was a change, and I was prepared for that,
Mm-hmm.
because even though it brought a lot of positive, feedback, and a lot of people have found hope and just was like, man, I can do that. I can change. God can change me. I also
Which
had
is
the
what
negative.
became your message. God changed me.
That's it.
And you see all these pictures, that's going on before. It's like, bam, there was a point when a change occurred.
Yes.
And then so now these people that were following you, trying to see what's she gonna do next?
Right, exactly. Yes.
How hard is she partying this week?
Right, right. So you've seen all that.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, something wakes up in your spirit. And you know what? Tell us just a little bit about your story, and as much as you like, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll talk about something waking up in your spirit. Okay.
So I was, and we just keeping it real. I grew up with a single grandmother. She raised me. My mother, she was incarcerated at the age when I was 7 years old. My father, he was incarcerated maybe when I was like 10 or 11 years old. So basically, my grandmother raised me from when I was a child, basically. And I dealt with early molestation from one of my family members, and I kind of took that in, and I buried that pain rather than to speak, or rather than to break that silence of what I was going through. I let that mold me into the young girl, very promiscuous. I started to find love in all the wrong places, basically, and when dealing with relationships, they were very toxic. I would jump into toxic, damaged relationships, and I just didn't know how to love.
Yeah.
So it was like I was trying to receive.
Even though your grandmother loved you,
yes,
it was
definitely.
the fact that the parents, they weren't around. Yeah,
definitely.
they weren't around, so it was like that missing piece.
Yes,
that caused,
yes. Like I had a sense of detachment.
Okay.
I didn't know how to attach myself to people or build relationships, because I never had my mother to rock me, or my daddy to tell me this is what you should have, this is what you should look for in men, these are the standards. I never had that, so
or
it was
even saw it, because some people we don't have it, but we have somebody that we can look to and go, you know what, that's probably good, but you're saying you didn't even have that. So obviously, before your mom was incarcerated, then there had to be some issues that were going on, even before she got incarcerated, where that connection didn't happen.
It didn't happen, yeah. And it's dealing with like a generational cycle.
Okay.
My family has been broken for a long time.
Okay.
And nobody didn't take the time out to teach my mother.
Okay.
My grandmother, even though she had a great mother, a phenomenal mother, it kind of started with her, in her younger days, and it kind of, she raised as she had 4 kids by the age of 22.
Okay.
You know, so she's raising her babies or whatever. And and the thing was, when it got to the age where my grandmother realized, like, okay, I need to get it together, it was kind of a little too late.
Oh, okay.
You know? So
yes,
yeah,
it came.
and
She
and
had
she
an
tried.
epiphany.
Yeah, she basically tried because she was providing. You know, she spent a lot of hours providing for us. But being a single person, you can't, you know, just extend to
Yes.
everything. You know, she's basically trying to provide for me and my sister and foster kids at that. So it took a lot of energy, you know, for her to, you know, actually see that, hey, I need to.
So you're in a situation and you find yourself, and I think that you realize now why you did what you did is pretty clear to you why you did.
Right.
You know, the things that you did, the self, the sabotage, the, you know, self-hurt type of things, the bad relationships.
Correct.
You realize why you did that, those things. Now, did you, or do you even want to talk about, did you have like a low point where you was like, okay, okay, something is.
That's it.
Yeah. Did you have, I mean, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Where I had came to my breaking point, and I was just like, enough is enough. You know, it didn't take a bad tragedy to happen in my life.
Praise God.
Yeah, thank God for that. It didn't take me to, you know, become sick or anything like that. It's just one morning, God laid it on my heart. I was just depressed. I woke up depressed, crying. No reason why. I didn't know why I was crying, you know.
Tears were just flowing,
just my spirit was grieving, you know, and I was just crying and crying, and for 2 weeks straight I would just wake up crying, go to work,
Wake up crying. Do you think you were crying in your sleep?
I don't know. Like I don't think so. I would just wake up and then I would feel how I'm feeling. Yeah, and then I start crying. I'm at work. I used to work at IHOP at the time, taking orders, and I'm just like, I have to run to the bathroom in the middle of me taking an order because I just feel like a fistful of tears is about to come, you know? So I'm just like, what is this? What is going on? And of course, I didn't think of God at the time. You know, I was just like, okay, you know, what is going on with me? Like, this isn't normal. And the thing was, I didn't have a relationship with God, so I didn't know, like, this was my spirit grieving.
The Holy Spirit was working on you.
That's it. It wasn't nothing but the Spirit touching me. And all it was saying is God was like, it's time. You know what I'm saying? It's time for me to do a work in your life. That's it, you know? So I got to get you on track, you know? So basically, he was just putting a stop to all my mess that I was doing. That was like the beginning point right there. So, yeah.
Now, when you were, before you got into the challenging part of your life, because I want to say bad because God can turn anything and use it for good, which he's doing in your life, because now you know that experience. You've had that experience. You can see people who've had that experience, and you can really relate to them and talk to them. And I think that's another one of the reasons why you're so popular on social media, is because you do have that paradigm and you did make that shift.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask you is, when you were a little girl, before all of this started, did you feel differently then? Did you feel something going on in your spirit when you were a little girl?
Yes, I always, man, like every church that me and my grandmother went to, it's like attended, became a member, they would always call me out and say, like, I'm anointed. You know, like, they always said that. So my grandmother, she even in my mess, she was like, look, you'll do the things you're doing for so long, but God got something over your life. You're not about to live like this. And you know,
what did you say with your fast self?
Yeah, right. So I was like, what is she talking about? Whatever, you know, like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Let me go ahead and get to this party.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so she was just like, you know, you're not gonna get away with a lot of things. Your friends, they can get away with it, for, you know, but God got his hand on you.
Isn't that interesting that the people who God has we cannot get away with the same thing as everybody else.
Not at
we
all.
just can't do. Now, this is a tragic and funny at the same time. Tell me about what happened when you said you were just gonna smoke a little weed. This is way back in the day, you guys.
Okay, yes.
Way back in the day.
Yes. Okay. So basically, I had came to a point where, okay, I'm starting to pray now. God is working through me. I'm trying to read my word. Then I got to a point where I was just like, I don't know if this life is for me. So I kind of found out. Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm like, God, no, this is too much. I'm going through too much. And so I started hanging out with one of my friends. I so happened to be in her city and called her up, and I was like, yeah, let's go hang out, woo, woo, woo. And so she was like, sure, whatever. And she so happened that was one of her habits where she smoked weed. And so, of course, your company you keep, so I'm like, oh, let me try, type of deal. And yeah, it just, and after like 3 puffs, I was like, okay, no. Like, I literally felt like demons were just surrounding me, like really. Like, I was like, okay, like they were trying to attack me, like they had me at a vulnerable place, like, hey, you open, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So they was like, and I'm like, oh, I can't, like it made me see some things that I just wasn't, It's like I stepped into a realm that just was not, you couldn't see
demonic.
physically, very demonic. And I was like, oh, let me step back, because this is if I take this route, if I keep going with this, I know the devil, he can easily take me out, through this course or whatever. So I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I ran back to God, like Lord, cover me.
Now, do you think that wrong living, maybe drugs, like, do you think that sometimes for some people that it can open the doors to demonic activity, like, in your mind?
I truly believe in that. I believe that's a gateway right there. Yes, like just the devil's playground, basically.
Is there any way you can do drugs responsibly? I'm just asking. Do you think?
No. Like, it's no way. Like, you'll find yourself wanting more. You get that sense of high, and you want to take it to the next level, then to the next level. So that means you're trying to try new things, so you're adding more, and yeah, it's just.
So what do you find that a lot of young women are dealing with on social media that's a constant recurring theme that you're seeing?
I definitely say when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
Like, man, I see a lot of women, a lot of young girls now are settling for damaged relationships.
Okay.
They're settling, it's a line now that they call side chick, thought, or whatever. Yeah, so basically it's like, they're taking that title and they're being proud to be a woman on the side, knowing that this man is involved in another relationship. They're actually taking
Why are they taking pride in that?
We have songs that actually
glorify
that
it?
embrace being a weekend chick. I know you got a 9-to-5 chick, but I could be your weekend. I can satisfy you on a weekend.
What's the name of that song? So some of these girls' parents can listen to what they're listening to.
I want to pronounce it. I don't want to pronounce her name, mispronounce it. Zaza, I believe, SZA, and it's called The Weekend.
The Weekend.
The Weekend, yeah.
Okay, so. You guys go to The Weekend and look at that, because that's what these young ladies are out there listening to, and they are really undermining all that God would have for them to do. There's no reason for us to undermine what God would have us to do, because what God would have us to do is great and even greater. There is so much out here that God wants us to do. We have to help those when we go through our trials and tribulations or our troubled spots and challenges. We have to be willing to use that to do what Michel'le is doing.
Yes,
and guess what? We're running out of time. So tell me, just, okay, in closing, what would be your message? What would be your message to, let's just say, the millennials or your generation? I know it's a lot you can say, because
I know.
She has so much going on in that brain of hers. But if you can just, what would be your message to these millennials, and a life message to them to make them look at life differently in a more wholesome manner?
You know what? I would say, elevation definitely requires separation.
Ooh, okay.
And
I'll look you up at that. Okay.
It comes in a time period, and I know that we as young people, we can sometimes get lost in a crowd, and we can we feel this need to want to fit in, and we're pressured by our peers and things like that.
And media, social media.
Yes, you got a lot you're dealing with now. Social media, you know, the music, everything. So if you ever feel like you want to take it to the next level, take that next step and to just become a more positive and godly person, you know, it's okay to let go.